Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. The next comment or question comes from the Deathbeat in response to I think I might have made a bit of a cock up here, but hey ho. I'll read my own numbering. Anyway, this is in response to the Oberheim X8 and a new AIRA from Roland, a rant I did in May 2022. And this, Gary writes, hey John, I think it's great that new AIRA compact devices are rechargeable. That being said, the batteries in phones and tablets wear out eventually, and it's going to happen with these devices. Hopefully the batteries they are using will be easy to track down on eBay. I'm guessing they are aimed at these hip hop and EDM producers who are most likely to be doing a 30-minute live show or 1 or 2 hour DJ sets, hence the 4-hour battery life. Something else I've noticed about the AIRA compact devices is that Roland seem to have underestimated themselves, as they have done with many of their machines over the years. Most notably, I'm referring to the TB303 and the TR808, of course. The reaction from a number of my friends who are established artists and producers is that they really want to get the TR8 in its affordable way of having the 3 main Roland drum machines and a TB303 in one portable device for under 200 quid. I've already got a TR06, a TR08, a TR09, a TB3 and a TB03, but despite that I'm still keen to get the T8. I decided to go ahead and ask Sweetwater to reserve a T8 beat machine for me. Apparently they're not expecting them in stock until August, which is quite a wait. But I think that's probably relating to the chip shortages. Now it's really interesting because I basically have no idea, and I still have no idea what the batteries are that sit within this new TR8 module. I have not really done an awful lot of research on the T8, probably because of health issues I had towards the latter end of last year. So I've got no idea, what batteries in the unit, how you replace them. I'm assuming that by putting rechargeable batteries in the unit, you've got to be able to get to them and replace them somehow. Now, even at 30 minutes for a set, if you don't recharge before the gig, you may run out midstream. That's one of the things nervousnesses I always have with things that are powered by batteries. Yes, it's great having batteries as a backup, but actually running a gig on battery powered equipment that isn't, if I look at my power tools have these big chunky batteries, and if I go and look at the professional market, people who do sound recording, that sort of stuff, they have a sound recorder like you probably can see my little Zoom sound recorder sitting over there, but they have a great big battery pack on those things, and probably 2 or 3 of them to get them through the day. So that is kind of what I think a professional does in those sort of markets. So the aforementioned products were always killed by the money men before the market worked out how the instrument worked. So that was another issue, is that they didn't sell particularly well, so therefore they were pretty much the bottom line was, we didn't make very much money, we'll kill the product line. Only to realise 2 or 3 years later that these things were in such hot demand that they were starting to carry a premium. The two you've mentioned specifically are the classic examples. They didn't sell well, they were discontinued, and then along came house and hip hop, and you couldn't get these machines for gold dust. With modern media, the companies now can present how they envisage the instrument to be used. Do they get it right? Well, let's look at the videos you see online. Quite often I see somebody sort of sitting there doing this. Is not representative quite often of a lot of how these instruments will be used. Yes, there are people who are very into their music and get very into the groove, but that's generally not what I see. Well, part of the time anyway. And for an example for me is the System 1, which they kind of saw as a bit of a sort of a mini synth, but I find the System 1 is an absolutely brilliant bass synth. You can set it down the lower end of the keyboard and have really great grungy bass tones on it. I love the System 8 for that. I mean, I kind of use it as a Novation, like a Novation bass station, if I'm honest. Anyway, Gary, when you get your unit, can you just relay what your thoughts are? And we'll see if anybody else has the same thoughts as you. Next question comes from Oscar Sheen. After the video, a new Phantom for a new year video I did in March 2022. And he writes, use a sustain pedal suffices for Aftertouch. Unfortunately, I completely disagree with that statement, because Aftertouch and a sustain pedal are completely different things. What Aftertouch is designed to do is change the characteristics of the sound based on how you've programmed Aftertouch to kick in. So that could, on something like this, Aftertouch could kick in an effect, or could kick in different routing, or could kick in completely different tones and timbres. But you program how you want Aftertouch to work. Whereas a sustain pedal is designed to basically sustain the note. So if you press a note and you release the key with a sustain pedal, that note will carry on sounding based on what parameters you set as sustain. So, if you set an elongated release envelope, then the sustain will just basically carry on with that. And then when you release the pedal, the note will then naturally decay in line with its basic release parameters. So they are two completely different concepts. So unfortunately, no, you can't use the sustain pedal to replace Aftertouch, which is a bit of a, okay, nice idea, but doesn't work in this instance.